It's the first 40 sports show with the squad. It's Black Thor, Ice Water, and Puma. We're going to go with hot takes. I'm going to start with Ice Water today. What's your hot take today, man?
Man, we've been talking about a lot of different things. My hot take is I was gonna hold it off, but I'm not. And I know it's only been a couple games, but what y'all think about so far about the great Caitlin Clark in the WNBA in her first couple games, the savior of the WNBA? Anyway,
Black, I know you're going to do the WNBA report a little bit later, but Caitlin Clark, they pushed her up. Here we go.
It's interesting. I'm gonna start by saying this. I can't blame her. And it's funny because a lot of stuff goes at her personally, and she's a pawn. She's handled her business. She's did what she's did. Think about this in reality. 3 years ago, for the most part, America didn't know who Caitlin Clark was. It wasn't until she did something like this with the other young lady to where everybody kind of zeroed in and made her out to be something. And realistically, when she lost that game, America as a whole became fond of her. And it became a Larry Bird, if you want to say Magic Bird type, Larry Johnson type of thing. So I look at her now stepping into the WNBA, and it's like a rookie. And I guess they was expecting her to come in and kind of be something she can't be. And it's amazing because to me, she's going to be the LeBron of the WNBA. They never had anyone that they kind of push out there and basically roll out to get attention and garner attention. And that's what they're doing. Not saying the NBA didn't have that before LeBron, but they're kind of treating her like a LeBron in the NBA. And it's like everything she does. I did my research on the league, and before they talk about anything else, they talk about her. What she did. It's like, what did she drink? How she woke up this morning. So none of it surprised me. And none of it surprised me because they're basically on this iron. They're gonna run this Iron Man into the cord, shrivels up, and that iron busts, bro. So be prepared.
Yeah, I kind of disagree just a little bit as far as it's not all her fault. I think no, they hyped her up, but I think the privilege. She's misused some of the privilege. Her antics, how she talks to the refs. She was doing that at college. She's starting to do that here in the WNBA. Barking at the refs, things that she could take advantage of. She has. And so I don't blame her for all the hype that she's been getting because I think she's being used by the WNBA to get that fire that happened a few weeks ago in March Madness and to keep that going, to revitalize the league, to get more money in the league. I have no doubt that they're behind that. But she didn't turn down offers and all that other stuff. She went right along with it, and here it is. And I think we owe an apology to the veterans who were saying, "Hey, there ain't gonna be no cakewalk walking in this league." And they said it, and everybody like, "Oh, y'all hating, oh, y'all old vets hating, blah 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 blah." And they were right. They were like, you got a lot of grown women in this league who have accomplished more than you, and they're not getting any shine. But now they're going to show you. So it's going to be a test every game when she gets out on the floor. I don't think they won a game yet. I think they're 0-3. Well, every game they're going to challenge her and they're going to push her and they're going to make it known that you're just a rookie and we're going to treat you as such. Ice.
yeah, I can say this. I think the WNBA, particularly with the team and also the media in particular, they keep pushing this campaign for her to be the savior of women's basketball. And I think that you have to understand, and I don't think they even care about it. There's a different level in college and then in pros. It just is. And they pushed her out there, and I'm not saying she took up on like saying she was gonna be all this, because she's gonna only do what they let her do, right? So she's taking the money, doing whatever, and everybody love her, but some of the players on the other side, the veterans was like, hell with that. And also too, the team is not really that good she's playing with. Okay. You might have Miss Boston over there. I know Kelsey Mitchell used to be with the former Buckeye, was one of the top scorers over there. They sat her down because it's all about Caitlin. In fact, the coaches made sure that pretty much Caitlin taking the majority of the shots. So when they play real teams, when they play some good teams, they have struggled. And I think it's personal from these players because you look at it. I think was it New York Liberty played them, been about 31. 31. Caitlin struggled. First time she scored 20 in her first game, she struggled. And they're like in all up on her, in her. And then it gets even deeper. People like, oh, it's not personal. They just playing. The hell with that. They're talking about when they played the Liberty, they were making travel, their travel arrangements. Indiana team with Caitlin Clark got a chartered flight to where when they were playing them. And the Liberty had to catch the damn bus. 31, dog. Yeah, there's some of that. So we're like, no, it's Caitlin. You don't think those women going, they may not be saying it publicly, they going, like, we about to whoop this girl's ass. Coming over here, you getting all this stuff. I've been over here. I can't get a shoe deal. I can't get a commercial in my local market. And y'all giving her all this stuff. Yeah, all right. Come on over here. Watch this. And then she goes, well, I'm just trying to make it through. And I'm okay with that. You're a rookie. You are. But do not expect these women to sit back and go, well, come on over. You're the savior. They're like, nah. 31, bitch. Mark it down. 31. 31. Where they do that at?
Yeah, I think she broke the record in turnovers too, like a 10.
I get the rookie part, but do not think that these veterans, even though Taurasi came back and backed down a little bit, they still like, they got that shit marked. 31, you come back over here, might be 40 next time.
Black?
Yeah. Let me ask you, if you don't mind, before I go to my hot topic, I just want to kind of throw something at you two gentlemen. Let's say if she was black and she was still getting the same treatment, how things would be different.
Ice?
One, I don't think if she's black, she'd get that treatment. I'm just curious.
I get that. Let's just say she was. Let's just flip it. I'm just curious.
It might be a little different because I think that people, particularly of color, right? We are so used to other people may not, especially when it comes to we're used to privilege, which we call white privilege, receiving that. So it may not be as harsh. They still may go, oh, you ain't all that. You don't think you are. But I think because of the factor, and they make it this way, that is because the way that the race cards is being played, like it was in college, and they're trying to bring it over here. And I think that it would be maybe a little bit more subtle to answer your question because they know what it is. They're looking for great white hopes, the Larry Bird thing, all the way up to when in the NBA, when nobody had won an NBA MVP for years, and they went back to back with Steve Nash, and then they gave Nowinski. So the media does this crap to me on purpose, and unfortunately, those like Caitlin Clark had to deal with it because they're the center of the attention.
I think if it was someone black, I agree with Ice, but I think they would be even more critical of somebody black coming in the league, a black young lady coming in the league and not doing well in the first few games. I think they would be more critical. They'd be more harsh. They'd be harsher with her. I think, Caitlin's been kind of dealt with kid gloves. Oh, it's only the first three games, blah, blah, blah. I think if it was somebody black, they'd be much harsher on them. Yeah.
No, and I'm not disagreeing with you two gentlemen, but I flip it there because there's an element of race here. There is. No one really kind of wants to put it out there. There's an element of race. You talk about the privilege and all that is there. And that's why I kind of say to an extent, like I said with the media, they're running with it. They're just gun-ho, metal to the pedal. And that's why I say to an extent, I don't see it's really her fault because I don't see where she plays into it. I know you said Puma with the referees. We all kind of, I think I spoke before about Taurasi, how Taurasi pushed the referee and nothing happened to it. But I think to an extent where a lot of times if something comes along, we all can feed off of, and I say feed off, I mean the media. Same, kind of similar to when LeBron came out, when they can feed off something, and the NBA, and let's face it, ESPN has been feeding off LeBron for how many years? And that's what they're doing with her, man. They all are feeding off of her. And I'm not saying none of that stuff doesn't exist, but that's what's really, if I look at it, that's what I see. My question, man, is I kind of, in a way, started to kind of think like Puma a little bit and had to wake myself up. But when I looked at Denver, I didn't watch the game. When I looked at Denver, game 6, losing that way the way they did, after the way they played game 5. And then I looked at the whole playoff series with the referees missing calls right in front of them. I mean, I understand letting the players play, but it's like, damn near, they put their whistles in their pocket. When it's time to go for a foul, they pull the whistle out. I'm like, it's almost obvious that the NBA wants things to go a certain way. And so my question is, am I just seeing it myself, or is this really going on, and no one's really talking about it?
Welcome to the Matrix. Ice.
Man, see what you have done.
I hate to do it, Ice, but I saw it. I saw it for myself, man. I had to wake myself up. I got scared. I was like,
see what you have now done. You are feeding into this controversy of everything. There's conspiracy, a conspiracy. Conspiracy.
Oh.
You are, when you open the door.
It's Sunday.
When you open the door.
I see the light.
You have opened the door for the conspiracy. So I don't know, man. I say this. I think that the referees can decide how a game is going, right? And what I mean by that is the way that they make fouls called. For instance, like some referees call touch fouls, right? Back in the day, they let you play more, so you knew it was a physicality. So I don't know if I want to buy into the conspiracy thing. I think that players just need to know that they need to adjust. Because back in the 80s and even sometime in the 90s, you just knew such and such and such ain't calling nothing. So guess what? You ain't calling nothing. I'm gonna throw the ball inside to Artis Gilmore, and he just gonna back this motherfucker down and be elbowing the hell out of him. We're gonna take advantage of the way you let us play. And I think it's more than that than it is about, well, we ain't calling this for that. You just have to adjust. I think ever since I knew growing up as little kids or whatever, it's certain things you're not going to do. I think it's like that in sports. Certain people may get favoritism, and if you want to win, you just got to just go take that. And I think, like you said, they may not make the calls and whatever, but as a champion, even in boxing, remember you used to have to do boxing where you had to knock the champion out, right? And if anything close on the scorecard, you was gonna lose. You already knew that. Pacquiao, Marquez, man fought the man 3 times before. Ain't no way he did everything except fold his underwear. He wasn't gonna ever get no damn decision unless he knocked his ass out. So my point of all that is, you have certain instances like with a champion, with Denver and all of that. The challenger has to know you have to do whatever is necessary. You just got to do go the extra mile and show that I want to win despite you. And I think that's what it comes down to. If you're looking for a call or a couple calls here and there, you're not getting it. So guess what? Figure it out. You're not getting it. And I don't know about no conspiracy, but if you want to win, you got to, as I said, Tom Brady said, you don't want it, take that shit. You got to take it.
I was talking to Pop yesterday, and he said, "You see why I don't watch the NBA? You see that game with Denver, blah blah blah." I said, "Yeah, Pop." I said, and that's why I try not to watch 6 games, the 6th game of series, because it's almost inevitable it's going to go 7, because the NBA is going to make more money. Think about it, there are 2 game 7s on Sunday here. Money, 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 and it's the defending champions. Everybody wants to see whether or not they could do it or not. And then you got, the big market area in New York, Ken Knicks, with all the different, trials and tribulations with the injuries and stuff. Can they pull it out and get to the Eastern Conference Final for the first time since the 90s? And so it adds up to all this drama. Advertisers love that. So, it is what it is, man. It's sports entertainment. I'm glad, Black, you starting to see the light. You said you started to think like me. I'm like, hallelujah. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's about money. I'll give you an example. Me and a buddy bet on a parlay last night in the game last night with Dallas and OKC, and I made every part of the parlay except Luka Doncic scored. He's supposed to score 30. He scores 29 points. That ain't no accident. It happens all the time. And he had a sheet he sent me like, "Hey, I bet almost the same parlay, and this is what they did to me." And we're just sitting there shaking hands. I ain't put much money on it because I don't put much money on parlays. But it's gotta you gotta think that there's somebody, a puppet master behind the scenes, kind of orchestrating this thing where they want money. And they say, Las Vegas and the casino never loses. And I'm a living proof of that. They rarely lose. I did win on two bets yesterday, Yankees winning and then Usyk winning, but we'll talk about that during the fight game.
Hey, can I
I
interject real
have
quick?
opposing views on that.
Can I interject when you make your mark, Black Thor?
What's that?
Sure.
Black Thor, I said, can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
Black Thor, I'm gonna tell you something real quick before you make your statement, bro. You know what he's talking about, this controversy is all based on his behind missing out on them damn parties. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to follow him, you go right ahead. I'm trying to tell you, he is mad. He falling short on them damn parlays. He want all that money and he ain't getting it. So he coming up with this everything's a controversy. Everything's a controversy.
I was doing this before I was putting in bets. So go ahead, Black.
It's I am not totally convinced the goal is a conspiracy yet. I'm not. I mean, there's some signs, man. I remember I saw a video where recently when Shaq was talking, he said early part he was playing, Phil Jackson was the coach. I think round one, I forgot who said they were playing, but Phil Jackson told their people, make preparations in Indiana.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And Shaq said he didn't understand what he was talking about. I said, but yeah, when they went there, he realized that they already knew they was going to make it play there. You can take that anywhere you want it, but it's just, it's to me, the referees are one thing, there are. But as a champion, when you look at the Denver Nuggets, where they played Game 5, they get trounced. When I say trounced, it's like, damn, that's to me, it's just it's like how that happens. How? Don't get me wrong, with Minnesota, I mean, I understand Conley came back, but not the point of 40-some points. I just don't understand it. So it makes you wonder. Then I listened to the coach at the end of the game. Yeah, we didn't do this, we did that. I'm like, but you just coached well the whole season. I mean, the whole series. How one game at least put an effort. That's one thing I was saying about the Knicks game against the last game against the Pacers. There was someone in the effort. Denver didn't even show up. Didn't show up. It's like they didn't get off the airplane. And of course, they have battles that they do, but it does make you wonder because you look at the influx of money, and the key part of this is betting. Like you said, Puma. Fantasy, basically. I remember fantasy basketball years ago. Nobody played it. PLS. Nobody bet on it. Fantasy football was the move. Now basketball, you can bet this person does this, how many timeouts a coach going to use. It's amazing, man. So with an influx of money, it doesn't surprise me that something could go awry somewhere, man.
I would like to work for the other side instead of being on this side. I like because they're obviously making a lot of money. Betting. I want a little taste, my beak wet on that side instead of being on this side trying to guess. Which one of the parlay lays are going to make it, which one is not. Because usually I'll take a little one off, like, nah, that's not going to happen, and then I'll fare well. But it's like it's a guessing game. I want to be on the other side of it. What do you guys think about the golf player? I know Ice, you sent a text message out about Scotty Scheffler, and talk about privilege, man. I'm gonna give it over to you.
Man, look, I mean, we've been talking about golf. And when we do talk about golf, we say that one word, tiger, right? But this is a situation that people don't understand. So Scotty Scheffler was the #1 player in the world. Okay, #1 player in the world. He was playing a tournament down in Louisville, right? And he was trying to get to his tee time, and trying to get to his tee time early in the morning. He said he was running late. So he looks up and gets closer to whatever the venue is, and the police have a traffic stop, right? And on the main road, you go to any golf course, they have there's just a way to get through and let people go through. So he's trying to do what he can do because he run late for his tee time. So they literally have a traffic stop. He decides to go around the traffic stop to get to his tee time. Around the traffic stop. So he does that, and apparently they went after him trying to tell him to stop because he didn't know what was going on. And now they're saying that they stopped him and pulled him out the car and everything, and they arrested him and took him to jail for doing what he did. Come to find out that the reason for the traffic stop was because a pedestrian had got hit by a bus and they died. But yet he trying to get to his tea time. Now, of course, he didn't know that. But when the police stop you, particularly with our folks, when you see something, you don't go ahead. It's like when they have it where the drunk driving, all that stuff. You sobriety. You don't. Oh hell with that. No. So he goes to jail, and then they say later on that he might have drugged one of the police officers that was chasing him. So they got these other charges. And he's like, well, I didn't know. What? If that ain't privilege, what the hell is it? I didn't know, and I was stretching in the jail because I've never went through anything. Really, where they do that at? And I'm gonna be straight up with you. Let that, and you talk about we always throw this thing out. Let that be. I'm not even gonna say a man of color, a black man, African American, try to pull up and go past the damn police. He lucky he didn't get shot.
Yeah.
In Louisville, Kentucky. I'm just saying. So yeah, I'm just telling you. So now it's this whole thing of, well, you know, he didn't know, dude. And yeah, we as a man of color, am I taking this personal? Yeah. One is privilege because you number one, and then it's like that too. We didn't know who you were, and now we know, dude. Nah, man, look. This is a perfect example in this country of privilege. People think because I'm this and that, and he says, I even had a card with PGA card with the notation of that I was with the PGA. Don't know about somebody died, bro. Nobody give a about you with the PGA. A dude died. That ain't good enough. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
A dude died. Like you don't give a about that.
To answer your question, where they do that at? America. Black.
I love Ice, man. You can tell when Ice is really involved in something because he comes in, he goes out. He comes in, he goes out. When he's feeling it, man, he's gonna give it to you. He ain't sitting still. You know, and everything he said about this is right. I remember I was watching Alter that day and they talked about it. And one of the things that was astonishing to me, I don't want to hear you didn't know, because you don't have to know.
You don't have
it's
to.
not like you should be running around a police monitor and they're telling you why they stopping traffic. That's none of your concern. If an officer tell you not to go past this point, you don't disobey. That's right. I don't care. I didn't know. You didn't have to know. But what I found to be interesting, and I don't know how it's going to play out, I got an idea that felony charge is going to get dropped, going to get wiped away, investigate misdemeanors, you know, show up or maybe speak at a school, hell, hand out some American flags and everything be kumbaya. But what I found to be interesting is this. I mean, and Ice is right. If it's a man of color, I'm giving it to you straight. I guarantee you, if anyone else was in that situation, you're going to work, you wouldn't have made it to work on time. How my man get arrested, bail out in a matter of 45 minutes? He was in jail, what, 45 minutes? You would have sat in the handcuffs for 45 minutes when they did the paperwork. What was that, a drive-through arrestment? I mean, he got arrested at a drive-through? I'm like, wait a minute, he's back, he's driving, they showing, ESPN showing, he's coming off the wood, he's getting ready to go. It's a golf game, people. Like I said, someone died. They weren't concerned he making tea time. They moved it. Fuck the tea time. Fuck it. I don't want that. That's an understanding. This man got arrested for a felony, and was able to come out of the jail within an hour and swing a fucking golf club. Think about that for a second. He should have been in jail at least to noon. At least noon. You disobeyed an officer, dragged an officer, and you get a chance, an hour, I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Come on, man. I don't care where it is. Where? But that's America. Based on your status, your color, the money you make, and what you provide. You can't tell me Kentucky ain't happy to have that freaking golf tournament in their backyard. The amount of money they're making off that. You don't think some phone calls are made when they heard he was being arrested?
Yeah.
You don't think anybody picked up the phone and called somebody, we got to get him here in a certain period of time? You think he got one phone call or a few? How many calls do you think he got when he was in jail? Come on. And that's the thing. So to me, if we're going to cover stuff, and I know we do, but ESPN, when you're going to cover stuff, cover it all the way. Don't cover it half-ass and do this because why do we? And I'm going to say this: I'm tired of reporters on the sideline asking these dumbass questions. What were you thinking when he took that shot? I don't give a shit about that. Talk about the defense that was played against him. Talk about how he was going to respond. Because that's what my granddaughter got better questions than that. And the reporting that they do on this is, like I said again, how did the man get arrested? You see him walking off in handcuffs. And an hour later, he's driving. Oh, he's driving. He's coming in. We're dragging a police officer. Dragging.
Yeah, he would have been shot if he was black. He would have been shot. The car would have been shot at. He would have been shot at. And we thought we saw a gun. That would have been the story. That would have been the story. We thought we were threatened. So, you know, he had a big vehicle. We were threatened. That would have been the story. It would have been totally flipped. When I saw it, I just shook my head and I'm like, here's another example. And then I got the text like minutes after I saw it on TV from ICE. And I'm like, man, I know we got to talk about this, but this is where it happens. It happens in America. It happens in other places too, but we see it more often in America where you see privilege, white privilege all the time. And it's wrong. You know, you got folks who are being, you know, just hoisted off to jail and other folks just sitting there free because of the complexion that they're walking around with. And they act like we don't see it. They act like we don't see it. And we got to do something more drastic to stop this madness because it keeps happening you get desensitized to it as a black person. Every day you see a story on this. Black, you want to say?
But my point is this. You're right, Poon. But the point is this: when you have black people in media, Stephen A. Smith, just gonna drop the name. You got what's his name running around, don't know what side of the fence he wants to be on. Shannon Sharp. When y'all don't say anything, this is what y'all get paid for. We all don't say, why should they do anything about it? I mean, realistically, the people that they hired will not stand up a man up or woman up to say anything. And I guarantee you, if that was a what's the name? When what's the name did his thing, Rice for Kansas City, that was all over that, all over it. But you mean to tell me? I mean, realistically, and that's the thing. But my point is, when this happens, you know what? I'm under contract. I'm gonna say what I want. Fire me, do what you got to do. But I'm gonna say what I want, Stephen A. How you sit there and act like this okay? When you want to yell and scream on anything else, that's what I'm trying to say. So when you got these rascals that are in there that are scared, don't expect ESPN these people to cover it like it should, because that should have been the number one question that morning. How is he out for a freaking tea time?
Yeah,
I guarantee, and that's my question. I would ask the police: how did he make it out for a tea time? How did that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, the PGA. You mean to tell me you should suspend him? Maybe not play that day? Realistically? But that's what, hey, who asked those type of questions? Be damned if it's Fox, CBS, or who asked those type of things? Because the money's involved. He's money right now. Tiger somewhere trying to play putt-putt golf. They can't get him back on the field anymore. Let's get real. So he's the one. He's the chosen one. And I'm just saying what it is, man. Realistic. I'm tired of these weak-ass questions. No. How do you ask it? How do you ask? That's the first thing put in. How do you get out so fast? How do you get out?
And I dare any of them to ask this question, and then we're going to segue right into NBA basketball. Where's Brett Favre? Where's Brett Favre? Somebody ask that, please. Where's Brett Favre? All right, NBA. I'm scared, Norton. I'm coming to you, Black. I'm scared. The Knicks, you know, I'm thinking, okay, with the big three, they can probably win in New York, but I don't know if Hart is going to play. I mean, there's a walking wounded. And Tibbs is just sitting there like, next man up, next man up. How many men you got? I happened to catch the Dallas game with OKC. Really feel bad for OKC, but they let their inexperience really kind of hurt them. And I kept saying to Pop on the phone, if Dallas is going to win this game, Kyrie got to do something. Kyrie got to do something. And Luka and Kyrie did their thing. They had Kyrie about to cry in the locker room because they wanted him to do a speech at the end of the game about their season and how far they came. Boston is waiting in the wings. You got Denver. I would be a little afraid if I'm Minnesota when Djokovic is standing all fourth quarter just staring the game down. It's like he's taking it off. So, Black, talk me off the ledge with this Knicks thing. I know you sent me a video saying this is fool's gold, but, you know, Draymond and them saying this fool's gold, but talk me out of this, man.
It is food gold, man. It is because we raised up being Knicks fans. You look at it, and I'm be honest with you, I'm surprised they got this far. I think they did well to get. I think they'll win today. Don't get me wrong. The East is just that weak. I think they'll win. The bad thing about this is they're gonna believe this coach deserved to be Harold when I don't think he should be. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I mean, you basically dog these players out to win. They've carried this far. Good luck with that. I don't expect much more than them. And, they're gonna play Boston. They'll make it a decent series out of it. Boston will win. Boston will lose to whoever comes out of the West. But I'm right now. Nobody's saying this. It's so funny because they're worried about what he's gonna do. Kevin Durant's got to be somewhere kicking in the wall, man. You left Golden State to go play with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving didn't really play with you in Brooklyn. Now he's with Luka kicking at you out of the playoffs. I'll be mad at him. Please, I'm telling you right now, man, Kyrie, because you're going to go play with him. But with that being said, Kyrie Irving is a bad man. I'll give it to him. That man's a bad man because he basically says, you know what, I'll pick my moments, I'll do what I got to do. And the sad thing about Kyrie, when I think about him, if he would have hung around in Cleveland, yes, Cleveland, and just kind of just shut his mouth, played along with LeBron, imagine how many championships they could have won their boss. They could have had a dynasty there in Cleveland. If he just would have basically stopped being so selfish and did what he could have done this years ago, they'd have been unbeatable, man. I mean, they would have been unbeatable. Minnesota should be a little scared, but I don't know. Jamal Murray is not Jamal Murray. I just don't know, man. I really don't know. I like to think so, but can the Joker carry him? Absolutely. But that's going to be a good game. I'm not even going to watch the next game. But my advice to you is don't watch the next game, man. Check the score. Tune in the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes. Don't watch, man. Don't watch.
You're looking out for little cuz.
Yeah, don't watch it, man. Don't watch it. Go watch it. Avoid the Pepto-Bismol, the antacid. Tune in towards the end and see what's going on because the Knicks are set to break your heart, bro. That franchise is set to break your heart. They wanted to have Oakley come back and come be part of the camaraderie. And Oakley said, no, until you apologize, I ain't coming back. I don't blame him. And it says, why should you want me back now? You want me back at the whole season. But I'm happy for them to get where they are, but I don't think they're going any further. And the game is basically set, man. Denver and Minnesota, been a good series. Again, I don't understand what happened in Game 6. If Denver basically lose this, I can understand it. But you can't come out today like gangbusters. I just don't get it, man, because that's not a sign of true champion, what your coach just said a few games ago. You don't go up to Minnesota and play the way you played Game 6, man. You don't know. I think they will win. And they'll take it from there. But that's it, man. I will say this real quick, man. Shaq, I'm a big fan of yours. But Shaq, you got to stop measuring everybody by you, bro. You got to stop. It's not about you anymore, Shaq. You played over 10, 20 years ago, man. Nobody cares about how you played, you came in second place. When that man won MVP, he won MVP. You can disagree with it, but the measure to how many times you came in second place, you should maybe think about why you came in second place, man. Look what he does that you can't do. I'll be honest with you. That man does barely gets to the ground and slam. What else does he do? Think about that. I mean, we all know what Kobe said about you when he was playing with you. I know you all love Kobe to death now. Let's not forget what Kobe said about Shaq when he was against playing with Shaq. And how he was pissed off at Shaq. For the reason why, when Jerry West had to get rid of one of you two, and he said, one day you two are going to realize what you could have done and how he was acting foolish. But when he chose to get rid of one, why did he hang on to Kobe? Enough said.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a little scared about the Knicks, but this is Tibbs. The rumor here that he runs teams and runs players, ragged, and at the end of the season they have nothing left. But I did sit in and watch the Dallas game, and I was really amazed by Kyrie and how it's almost like they couldn't get over the hump, and then all of a sudden Kyrie just started taking over. Luka started taking over. Luka, you needed 30 points for me to hit that parlay. But anyway, your eye test on the playoffs.
Yeah, let's go on and go to New York City because we got Stephen A. going to New York. So such a big game, and I'm gonna be there. Okay. You ain't there or not, bro. We all good. Anyway, let's go to New York City. So Indiana played real well at home. It was do or die in Game 6. Now we're in Game 7. And I know Hart may not play, but Brunson is a monster. And he's going to come with it. They're going to have the crowd there and everything, too. Plus, too, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And here's your conspiracy. It's going to take an act of God for the Patriots to win that game in New York City. For real. Brilliant. You talk about
You're right.
conspiracy now? You think as you said, now you got when you eat over on the good side, you gotta have something on the bad side now, okay? You gotta eat on both sides of the table. You can't have one way or the other. So with your beloved Knicks, don't you think they want everything, they want the Knicks to be there against the Celtics, so for the bigger market? And I'm not saying Indiana can't win the game, but with all that being said, do you think they're gonna allow in the way that the Knicks are gonna play? Because it's gonna be like a Willis Reed moment, right? The Hart probably come out the locker room in the second quarter limping with an oxygen tank on and score about 19 points, and then they're gonna throw this whole thing. I can't believe he could barely breathe. He had one lung and it was only functioning. You know how that man, the media is a mother, bro. They are something else. So they're gonna run this whole thing, but it's gonna take a real unnatural act, I think, for Indiana to win, even if they play well, because I think it's just kind of set up that way. And what I mean by that is I think it's going to be a little bit more. You talk about no calls or whatever, and you know how the one thing I said the refs can make a difference is when they can make the difference between how many free throws a team shoots compared to the other. So like some team might have 27 attempts, another team might have 10. And that's gonna be the disparity. I said it here first. Listen to what I'm telling you right now. Y'all talking about a CO conspiracy? I just told you that. So the Knicks are it's game 7, so all set up for everybody for them. I think they will advance because I think Brunson's a hell of a player, and I think it would take a very special effort from Indiana to do that. And I'm not sure if they can do that after the great game 6 that they had. It's gonna be hard to win in game 7. Moving on forward, I watched that OKC game last night. It broke my heart. And I haven't watched any of those games except the first one I watched was last night. So OKC, watching them up by 17, it was like, wow. And I kept watching and flipping back and forth, and I'm looking, I'm like, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back. And I watched it get down to 10. I watched it get down to 6. I watched it get down to 4. And I watched it get down to 3. And I watched it tied. I was like, they in trouble. And they played their tails off. But I think I said earlier, I think that the Timberwolves at some point need another vet or they need another person, a vet, somebody to kind of hold it up, but you don't want to destroy the chemistry. They're talking about, well, did Holmgren play well? I mean, guy had 20-something points. What you want? I mean, he's young. Played his butt off. I mean, you had some other guys do whatever, but and for the record, SGA is that thing, bro. Y'all don't know? You better ask somebody. SGA was like, I need to take
I
over.
thought he should have got MVP, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but we like you said, I'm not gonna do a Shaq.
Yeah.
They made the decision what they wanted to do, and that's what they did.
Yeah, all respect to Joker, but yeah.
He was definitely deserving. But Dallas, though, Luka was doing his thing. Washington came on. The other big fella was balling. But I've been trying to tell y'all been hating on him because he say the world is flat instead of round. It ain't got nothing to do with that man on the basketball court. Kyrie Irving, I told y'all, is one of the best damn basketball players today. And I said it, I'm gonna keep saying it. Because he just does what he does. And he kept balling, taking over. They swing the ball around, dudes up on him, clutch 3-pointers. Dude is amazing. He is amazing on the court. And I just had to give it up to him. I had that moment where I was like, why don't you just be quiet? Quit talking. Now it's like, when you on the court, that's all I'm looking at, bro. I'm not even talking about your extracurricular activities, what you think or whatever. I'm thinking straight basketball. And to see the way that he reacted, he got all emotional and stuff, because I think he felt really appreciated.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, with Luka, just really looking at him like, this dude can play. We're playing well together. And Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban on the floor and everything. It was a sight to see. I really feel sorry for OKC, but I'm really excited to see Dallas move on because they really want it. We'll see what happens. And last but not least, because we know Boston already made it to the conference finals. But Denver, Minnesota, tell you what, I hear Edwards saying everything right thing. He might get 50. Seriously. He might get 50 in games. He might get 50.
I think they'll double team him this game a lot.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna just let him do what he do, because he can score 50. But who else is gonna step up? Is Mike Conley gonna rise up? Is Blackthorn's favorite guy, Towns, gonna rise up. Is Gobert gonna? Well, who gonna do it? Who else? Who else gonna step up? But the one thing we do know, as y'all said before, we don't know what happened. Why Denver didn't step up in Game 6? The Joker gonna be there, bro. I don't know about Murray. I don't know about what's my shooter? The other guy,
Aaron
Porter Jr.
Porter, yeah.
Two people are gonna step up, and I think it's gonna get them over the hump. It's gonna be the Joker and Gordon.
Yeah, nobody can guard him. Nobody can guard him.
Yeah, that's all. Them two dudes right there. Because the Joker was like, I will score 75 up in the if I had to. He don't care. He has no. It's not like he think he needs the greatest guy. He just plays his game. He's direct. He's on a mission, and he's gonna go through it. So it's like, if you want to match me, you want to do what you do. I don't think you guys have anybody that can check me. I know Gordon is my right-hand man. Those two guys together, and whatever Murray can provide anybody else, they're going to roll through it. And I think that's because they are, as Blackthorn has said in the past, I'm going to give it to him this time. Look, they are champions, and they know what it's like to get there. I don't know if Minnesota has enough, one, chemistry to get it done. And Denver's like, we already been there. And plus, two, I think Denver goes, if we make it, we believe we can beat Dallas, right? Dallas don't have nobody can check the Joker. And they're also thinking, we talked about the game earlier in the season, Denver versus Boston. Told y'all this early on, we talked about this. And Boston was all rolling up in Denver and getting the guards and everything. And at one point, Joker was like, y'all ain't ready. I'm gonna just cut your head off because I'm gonna take it. And Denver was like, we about to try to win this whole damn thing again. First they was like, oh no. Now they like, we can beat every one of these damn teams that still remaining. And and just the fact is, my last point on this is, I know it'll break your heart, but I want to see this because I want y'all to get hyped up and I want y'all to feel a little pain. I want to see Denver versus the damn Knicks.
I think we blew them out this year, one game. I
want Denver versus the Knicks. So y'all gonna feel real, y'all get all hyped up. Stephen A gonna be up there with a little matching outfit with Spike Lee and all that other shit. Cut the head off. Send the monster to bed. That's what we do, baby.
The two things I want to mention.
I wouldn't even watch that series. What's the guys all year?
You said you won't watch it?
I wouldn't watch that series. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't even turn that on, man. You caught me out of ratings. What's the ice all year to basically give it to the Joker? To them all year, man. We'll give it to him all year. Finally now give it to the Joker.
Two things I want to say about the NBA is that the younger teams, you could tell they do need like one or two veterans to get them over the hump, and I'm loving the energy from the younger teams. They want it, they're hungry, but sometimes it takes a year, 2 years to kind of get to where they want to get to. So if Minnesota wins or loses, it's still on that. They're kind of trying it for this year. I don't expect them to win at all. But Djokovic was standing there like, you ever see somebody at the park and the daddy standing at the side of the park just looking at him like, I'm going to whoop your ass when you get home, right? How you stand the whole fourth quarter just staring at the park like, yeah, when we get home, So have your little fun now. But when we get home.
It's on. It's on, baby.
Let's go to the Major League Baseball report with Ice Water. I'm looking at the standings in New York is 2 games above Baltimore. Me and Pop talked about this yesterday, that's going to be a battle with those two teams all year long. So just strap on, New York Yankee fans. Cleveland, a lot of people sleeping on Cleveland. 1.5 over Kansas City. Seattle is in first place in their division. Philadelphia, I mentioned last week. A lot of people aren't looking at Philadelphia, but they are definitely playing some great ball. 7-3 in their last 10. Milwaukee holding on to a 2-game lead over the Cubs. Cubs playing some good baseball. Pop was telling me about that. Of course, his Dodgers, 31-17. 7.5 games over San Diego. Your report, sir.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier in the American League East, the Yankees are just cruising, and we know how that is. And the one thing we have not heard from Puma this year is like, the Yankees are struggling. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to make it. You can't say that when they're in first place. So you know how that goes from that standpoint. In the Central, you mentioned also Cleveland is up on KC. Cleveland, like we said before, It seems like they're doing it with smoke and mirrors because they're still getting it done. They don't have a lot of fanfare over there, but they're still leading that division by a game and a half. Minnesota's 4.5 back. In the West, Texas is a game behind Seattle. Texas is still right there in the mix. I watched a game last night with Texas and the Angels. Game was tied in the 13th inning, and there were 2 men on base. And Ron Washington, the beloved manager of the Angels, decides to walk the next batter. They load the bases, right? We're trying to get a double play or something to that effect. In the 13th inning, the next couple pitches, the pitcher for the Angels hits the damn batter. And a walk-off hit by pitch win the game. Really? Where they do that at? I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. And it's like the manager, Ron Washington's like, what in the hell? You had to do? Why I walk the other guy for? So it's been ongoing, but that's what Texas has been doing, moving on from. In the National League in the East, Philadelphia is up on Atlanta by 4 games. Philadelphia, as we know, has spent money in the offseason trying to get some things going. I think it is finally paying off for them with the investments that they made. But the question is, with such a long season, can they move forward and still hold on to that spot? In the Central, Milwaukee is 2 games, as you mentioned earlier, up on the Cubs. The fantastic Cubs, when you don't talk about them, when you don't have a lot of top-notch players, they always find a way to win. And I think they're doing it to spite Puma. Puma does not want to get the Cubs. They just do. They traded everybody they know that's of significance, but they're still winning and only 2 games back. Says a lot about that team. And why are we even talking about the West and the National League? Pop, I know you're listening. I know you're watching. I know you love them Dodgers, but when you spend all that coin, you should win. All that talent, all that money, you are the Yankees of the National League West. They should just stop right now. Let's remove the rest of the games and go directly to the damn playoffs. Just enjoy the rest of the summer with some chicken wings, because that's who everybody's looking at right now is the damn Dodgers and the Yankees for the title. And if they don't make it, something is wrong.
All right. WNBA report, the first report by Black. And I'm looking at the standings, and you got the Aces, they're undefeated. Connecticut's undefeated. New York, Minnesota's undefeated. And Caitlin Clark, their team is 0-3. I'm not laughing because I'm hating. I'm just that all the vets, all the vets were saying that this was going to happen, and the vets got hated on. And now I think people owe them an apology.
No, I don't think you're hating. I don't think when the vets are speaking out, they should be hated on. People basically speak reality, and for those that know, you wouldn't look at it as being hate. That's what you're feeling. That's not hate, man. That's just being objective. That's all that is. And realistically, there's a tone that's totally different. I'm going to swing it a little different because I'm looking at the Minnesota Lynx. Over the years, they lost some good players. They're going to have some hard times the past year or so. But look at them off to an 0-2 start. That coach is still there, man. That coach still can coach. You're going to get some players. They're going to bounce back. Vegas, for the most part, is quiet. You looked at Candace Parker's retiring. They still loaded, man. A'ja Wilson just picked up an endorsement with Nike, and I believe also Gatorade. She's finally starting to get, what deserved to her. And, she's going to come out and be ready to go. So that team is going to probably catch her on fire and continue to stay on fire. I'm looking at the New York Liberty, man, because I think New York Liberty right now are the team to really kind of keep an eye on. They got a bad taste in their mouth. They got a bad taste in their mouth from last season. They're 3-0. They're doing some things, and I think they're going to be if they can stay healthy. If they can stay healthy the entire season, that's the team to keep an eye on. Of course, the Sun makes it interesting, but they find a way towards that and kind of whizzle down. But those 4 teams right there, the Vegas, you got the Las Vegas, Minnesota, Connecticut, and New York. I know it's early, but those are my 4 teams right there. If they can stay healthy, you're going to see and hear from them all season long. As we talked about earlier, Caitlin Clark, she came in to a big fanfare. It was interesting, I thought, that her first game at home, I think they said the tickets were going for $4. I'm like, I don't understand that.
$4?
Yeah, they were selling in Indiana. They sold tickets for $4 to get people to come into they want a lot of people there. So you got to do that, which says to me they're not attracting as much as they say they are attracting.
I thought they were like raising ticket prices for her games at one particular point.
Not the first game at home. It's $4, boss. They might be raising ticket prices elsewhere. They kind of figure And that's going to be interesting because my point is they don't attract a lot of people now. So if you're thinking, you probably think when they travel, she travels around the country, they could charge higher ticket prices. People going to pay to see it. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. They did get a bump in viewership though. They averaged the first game, I think, was usually average about 795 viewers. They got over 2.1 million viewers. So people are tuning in to watch, but they stay consistent as she starts to basically hit her rumps and bumps of rookie season. She'll tell at some point, but for right now, people are definitely tuning in. But when it gets a little more tougher for her, where they kind of ride it out and stay with the WNBA. Like you said, the first report of the season, we're keeping a close eye. We're going to basically talk about some players outside of her. And one player I'll mention right now that's really doing her thing. And again, I think she has a bad taste in her mouth. Breonna Stewart. Stewie is playing, man. And it's amazing that she doesn't get the attention that she deserves. That young lady's playing some basketball, and she wants it.
All right, Ice, last second shot.
Yeah, last second shot is, again, ladies and gentlemen, when we watch sports and listen to sports, let's think about the source that we're receiving it from in regards to the media. And what I mean by that is what you watch and how you spend your money, advertising dollars makes a difference. And I think you should start making the media accountable, right? There was a time when it used to be that way, where you couldn't just say anything and you just, oh, well, is that true or not? You had to be accountable. Now you don't have to be. You don't really have to be a trained journalist. You just have to have people like you and talk real loud, and maybe you have a cute face or something to that effect. But watch and be very careful where you get your news from, and make reporters and people, media, accountable. Everybody's on social media these days. So you have the right to go out and say something. You know, all you do is hide behind your keyboard. We know how it is. I know what I'm talking about. Hide behind your keyboard and make a comment. But while you're making these hidden comments, because you're hiding, and I'm guilty because I'm one of those people too. Let's make sure that we're saying the right things and making those folks accountable, so somebody does not feel like they should be privileged just because they make a lot more money than you, look different than you, and feel like they have the right to do something because I'm getting paid a certain amount of money. Think about what I just said.
What?
I'm going to do a little different with my last second shot. I'm going to take a person that I've seen kind of up close and personal when he's kind of coaching in the Northeast. I'm speaking of Andy Reid. Remember, Andy Reid was coaching for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I know a lot of Eagles fans, and that's up in the Northeast, man. They didn't like Andy Reid, bro. It was like Andy Reid made bad decision making. He can't, this time clock. I mean, it was just, they had a laundry list. And then the man goes to Kansas City. Basically, his son's got into a lot of trouble too when he was up here in Philadelphia. He goes to Kansas City. We know the story, what happened there. But beyond that, man, I saw a picture of him and his mom. His mom was 105. Wow. Think about that. 105, Mother's Day, man. Andy Reid with his mom. So, Andy Reid, I salute you, man. You had some highs and lows in coaching. You stuck through it. You persevere. You've been a champion. And, you know, man, to see you with your mother at 105, a lot of us aren't blessed to have that, bro. That smile on your face. And then I heard also, man, that the commercials you did with, excuse me, with Pat Mahomes, you basically ad-lib. You're a bad man, Andy Reid. They didn't script that for you. You just start eating ad-lib. Do your thing, boss. Right behind you.
Calling all Canelo Alvarez fans. Calling all Canelo Alvarez fans. The word is that the Saudis offered a lucrative fight deal to fight Terrence Crawford. And Canelo says no. He walks away from it. What other excuses you going to give this guy not to fight the best of the best in the fighting world? What other excuses do you have? He's asking for money. They're giving it to him, and he's still refusing to fight the best of the best. Could it be that he knows that Terrence Crawford would whoop that ass? I think so. That's our show. We'll see you next week.